Hi everyone. So I don't have a lot of time. I'm going to try to be concise here. I'm actually going to be traveling to a work meeting, and I need to get in my vehicle before it actually gets too crowded on the freeway, and that will drive me just crazy because I won't ever get to my meeting on time. But I thought it would be a good video to make on the video that I created or follow up entitled "Are You a Healer?" And I did receive a few private comments. In fact, I was able to speak to a gal that follows me on Instagram and who wants to be a coach and watched my YouTube video and had some questions for me. So, I made a quick call and we were talking, and she was telling me how she has a lot of personal problems, and that she had been reflecting about just really not being able to manage some of the things that have been coming up for her, and then also debating what kind of niche area that she wants to get into with coaching. And that, the only thing that she had really done were some Reiki sessions and some things with like infusion or like oils. I'm not too familiar with what exactly she was saying. It wasn't important, but basically, she felt that it certainly wasn't deep psychological work or behavioral coaching and things like that. And so she realized that many times she finds it difficult to manage her own behavior, let alone, with somebody else's behavior. So fast forwarding, I think it's extremely important that when you are in the healthcare you know business and or even in wellness, and you're dealing with people, even like yoga, if you decide you want to open up a yoga studio or something like this, it doesn't really matter if it's mindfulness or what. I think it's extremely important for the practitioner, for the business person, to actually find themselves a professional coach, because a lot of things come up, a lot of triggers. People will trigger you, situations will trigger you. And if you are unprepared for this, you're going to burn a lot of bridges. I've seen a lot of business people, a lot of coaches who get certified and so forth, or maybe not, and or go on retreats. And I mean, we see them all over the place. We see them on the internet. I mean, I watch their posts and the things that they say. It's not really coaching. And there's a lot of pointing fingers and a lot of burning bridges and a lot of people. So what struck her about that last video was that I had stated something about that I had those experiences. It's like, how are we going to be, if we can't handle people, if we write people off, or we decide on Facebook that we no longer want to contact them or something like that? This is not really coaching. We have to walk the talk. And so I just want to say that yes, if you are going to be going into these fields, I think it's a great opportunity to really actually find yourself a professional coach to help you. Now, does that mean that all of a sudden you go to a professional coach and you're going to be perfect? No. You're going to, in order for us to walk the talk, each situation, they're like kind of like levels. Each situation is going to bring you to the next. And so it's really important that when you're doing your inner work, yes, you can do it in tandem with helping people. That's just kind of part of life. I mean, if you think about personal development, it's not like you go away on top of a mountain or go on a retreat, like an endless retreat. You have to come back into real life, into daily life, and you have to cope and manage and deal with other people around you, unless you decide you actually want to be a hermit, which is perfectly fine. A lot of people get off the grid and they're not involved in anything. They're perfectly fine living that way, no judgment there. But for the rest of us, we have to live in daily life, and we have to deal with people with all kinds of personalities. And so, when I was younger, I actually didn't kind of know that or realize that or wanted to admit that. And it was until I realized, as a business owner, yes, it's true, we can choose for the most part. But what happens when you're already involved with a client? You're already involved in a relationship with someone, and there's some personality, something you don't like about their personality, or you're working alongside someone and you might not agree with them on something. that to me doesn't mean that you just, ignore them or just say, hey, I don't want to have anything to do with you. I mean, that's just very immature. So I'm glad I was able to positively influence this one follower, and I hope that you find this video helpful as well. So it's not about first working on ourselves and then all of a sudden, not then working with people. You can do it in tandem with people. It's just that you definitely want to be working on yourself. Maybe you take a pause, but definitely seek professional help, from someone that can help you be accountable for yourself. And usually this is not a family member, and it's not like your best friend, because they usually, that could be the exception. So if you actually have someone that can challenge you and constructively point things out to you and even maybe critique, great. You have to be willing to accept it. That's fine too, but most likely you're going to benefit. Then when you invest in yourself, it's going to show. You're going to show up in a different way with your clients, and your clients are going to feel that, and you're going to be centered, and you're going to be grounded, and you're going to be mature, and you're going to know how to handle things. You're going to be more forgiving. You're going to be more compassionate. Compassion isn't just turning the other cheek, and compassion isn't letting people get away with crap, and it's not letting yourself get away with crap. There's a beautiful balance in itself. And in that balance, you will know when to say no. You will know when to say, this is enough. I've tried to meet you halfway, but that rarely happens, because when you're centered and grounded in your own healing and doing your own inner work and things like that, it's beautiful. And I know this from experience, so it has a lot to do with establishing healthy boundaries as well. But anyways, hope this has been helpful. Have a great weekend, you guys. Take care.